Okay, so um, for my artifact, I did the Sorting the World's Cities um, secondary social studies lesson plan, and here we are. So my learning objectives are pulled straight from the lesson plan, so the student will be able to accurately identify the hemisphere location of each city provided. And you can read the last two. These correlate to the Common Core science literacy standards. Forgot to mention, but those are grades 6 through 8, but the activity is geared more towards 9 through 12. These vocabulary words are also pulled directly from that lesson plan, which is linked at the bottom. The students will learn the sorting and also highlighting process by creating an algorithm and finding patterns. So it all kind of goes together. This is more lesson based, or what is a hemisphere? This is an ed puzzle where it just visually describes hemispheres. It's just cropped as well as an ed puzzle. Now it's a draw activity through Nearpod, so the student will be able to draw on this map where the equator would be, which would dictate the northern and southern hemispheres. Just kind of setting a base for the actual computational thinking aspect. So this is the activity 1, or first part, from the lesson plan. So the student will click that link and they would follow the instructions. So the hemisphere column of the Google Sheet would be empty, and they would, as it says, decide if the city is in the northern or southern hemisphere. The next two slides are also pulled from the lesson plan, and they detail the steps to the conditional highlighting and the sorting, which are the skills that the students will be able to, or will need, in order to finish the activity. So analysis questions, which is basically what the activity is. They will need to write an algorithm in order to sort the data into two groups of cities, with those in the northern hemisphere listed first, followed by those in the southern hemisphere. And then the next one's kind of more analytical, so what does conditional formatting allow us to do, and then which hemisphere has more of the world's major cities. That's where the pattern comes into place. Well, they will illustrate this pattern in a graph or a chart. This is another interactive element, a reflection of a collaborate feature of the Nearpod. In one box, they'll enter one thing they liked. In one box, they'll mention something that they thought was more difficult, and then once every student has submitted theirs, they can read through and like the ones that they agree with. That way, me as a teacher will know how to tweak and adjust this activity for future classes or future activities. The one last thing is an open-ended question of a Nearpod feature, and they will answer the questions. It'll go directly to me, and then it also connects the computational thinking aspect to other classes. So how might they use skills that we learned today, like the sorting and the conditional highlighting, in other classes?